That was like the most important thing. So yeah, it was fun. I also think it's kind of boring just doing this with just one person. So if you are interested in being part of a series, either 15, 17, 19, anything, you guys can just go into my Discord server. I have a link in the description. And just hit me up there, let me know. Just be like, in the introduce yourself channel, just say something like, I was watching your video and I'm interested in being part of, and then just say whichever series, whether it's Farming Simulator 15, 17, or 19. And if you want to be part of all of them, just say, I want to be part of Farming Simulator 15, 17, and 19, or something like that. For now, since I'm still running this on my, well, it's old but it's new. I guess it's not a very powerful, but it's powerful laptop. When I say it's not very powerful, I mean it doesn't have a graphics card, but this is all running off of Intel integrated. So the amount my laptop can do for how much it is worth, it was ridiculous. So we paid either $500 or $600 for this laptop, which is like really cheap for a laptop in like, oh, is it 2018? So I wasn't expecting much out of it. In fact, I wasn't even planning on playing games in the first place. And then downloaded a couple games and played. It ran pretty good, but it didn't run the best. So I went out and bought double RAM, or I bought 8 more gigabytes of RAM, so I doubled the RAM. Now it runs even better than it did before, especially with the FTP servers and whatnot. Those ran so much better. So for my new computer, I'm planning on getting, if you guys even know anything about computer stuff, recently, July of 2019, recently, AMD released their 2nd gen Ryzen, which is the 3000 series. So I'm looking into getting the 3900X, and then I'm not sure how much RAM, because the motherboards max out at 4 DIMMs at 128 gigs. So that means if you had 4 32 gigs, that's pretty much the max. So 4 DIMMs, and each one had 32 gigs. But since the processors work great in dual channel configurations, that means I would probably need minimum 64 gigs of RAM, which is a lot, but it's better to have more than not enough. And then as far as the graphics card goes, I'm still waiting for the rumored RX 5800 and 5900 to get released, because the 5700 XT pairs great with like the R7 3700X and 3800X, but I would say that there's too much strain on the graphics card when you have the 3900X. So the way you want your PC to be is you want both your graphics card and your CPU to be balanced and about the same level. So you want both of them to be working as hard So if one is at 50% load, you want the other also at 50% load. So I want to say the RX 5800 and possibly even the 5900 would work better with the 3900X. So I'm waiting for those to get released, and then we have to wait for third partner cards to get released with those, so that you get better cooling, higher frequencies. Basically, they run quieter, cooler, and better. And then as far as a motherboard goes, I know I'm going to go with the X570. I don't know which tier of motherboard to get, whether I'm going to go with the $300 and $350 range, the maxed out $700, which is kind of ridiculous and unnecessary. But I don't want to go too low because I want certain features. I typically look at the Asus ROG motherboards as like my main choice. I know some people say ROG can be overpriced, but it's a brand that I can trust. So I'm thinking about going with the Asus ROG Crosshair 8 Hero. It looks like a nice board. Now, why would I go with X570 rather than go with X470 and save some money? It's because of PCIe 4.0, and you're probably thinking, well, how does PCIe 4.0 how is it an advantage? See, a lot of people think it's just for graphics. In fact, we aren't even really that close to maxing out PCIe 3.0 for graphics. I'm doing it more for the storage side of things. The newer NVMe drives that have 5 gigabyte per second read-write speeds are insane. If you had one of those and you like basically started up your computer, it would be ready to log in within like a second. They are fast. So another great thing is certain games that don't load everything of the game right off the bat. I don't know if Battlefield does this, but what I do notice is that Battlefield 4, it takes a long time to load a map initially, and then after a while, as you keep loading it, it gets faster and faster. I have all my games stored on the hard drive, so I know it takes a bit. Probably also takes a bit to load stuff onto memory, considering I only have 1 gig of VRAM, or 1 gig of RAM that's allocated for VRAM. I don't know how to allocate more, and I don't think it's really possible, but so it's trying its best. But yeah, I think if it was on an SSD, it would be faster, and I also believe that if I had dedicated VRAM, at least 8 gigabytes worth, it would easily load it in seconds. The other debate that I would have with a PC is whether to go with a Noctua CPU cooler and not care about looks, or go with an AIO and make it look really nice. It's always the debate. AIOs aren't bad at cooling, but Noctua's coolers just defeat everything. So yeah.